Alright guys, welcome back to class. In the previous section, what we did is to calculate or build our depreciation schedule. We can see it right here. Now in the next section, we are going to be integrating all our calculations into the individual financial statements, right? Starting with the income statement. Now this is very important. Let's review. Like I said, we started off by building the inputs, which are the assumptions we made we made for this model we are building. Now these assumptions are the drivers of the entire model. They are the same assumptions we use in building all our calculations. These are the real numbers that matters in the model, right? So you see how to do all this. If you have not watched how we got to this level, please kindly go back and review all these videos so that you can catch up with us on this, right? So in this particular section, what we are going to be doing is to go and start integrating our values in our income statement, right? So all those calculations we made, this is where we are going to be integrating them into the individual statement. So the first thing to do right here is to change this into what? Change this into income, rename it into income statement, right? This is now our income statement. So the first line item we have here is the revenue. So the revenue, we are going to just say equal to, we go to our calculations, and you go to your calculations, we have locate the revenue, right? Scroll up, like, so this is our revenue. Now remember when I say there is in our model guide, there is what I call divisor. Now that divisor is going to be used to divide this value so that it will be, how will I say, it's going to be used so that it will be if you use it to divide the value, to put it either in millions, but we don't want the numbers to be lengthy as it is right now. So that's what we're going to be using the divisor to do. So we just say equal to divided by the divisor, oh, it's like we have not named the divisor yet. We have not named the divisor. I can just go ahead and press enter. So I'll come back to my model guide here. When I come to my model guide, I'll locate that. Okay, this is the divisor right here. I'll just change the name. I'll just say the name should be what, and I can just use the name formula and just say define name. So it will take the name by the left. So that is the name of the item. So we'll just say divisor and come back to our this place. You can see that the very moment we enter that name, because the name matches, it automatically divided that, right? So we just go ahead and drag this forward, so we have this value. You can see how it is neatly formatted, right? Unlike what we have here, right? You can see how it is neatly formatted here, right? So the same thing, we have gotten the, I don't know why, but this is my own concept. Your own concept may be different, but I like putting this revenue in bold, right? I like putting it in bold like this. Then we come back to our cost of sales. Go back, put your equal to sign, then go to your link and sorry, your calculations, locate the cost of sales, then divide it by the divisor again. You can see the divisor because it's now saved. We can now see it. Divisor, you press enter, right? When you do that, you just drag it in like this. So here now we are going to now put our subtotal style. We're going to put our subtotal style here, right? So this is going to be equal to what? Equals to the revenue minus what? The revenue minus this value. We have this, and you can just click and drag it, right? So on the part of the gross profit margin, what are we going to do? On part of the gross profit margin, we are going to now say, okay, it's going to be, we're going to apply our explanatory sales style there. We're going to apply our explanatory sales style. We're going to now say equal to the gross profit divided by what? Divided by our revenue. We have the gross profit percentage, and we format this into percentage, right? Format it into percentage. So we have this, then you fill this in, right? You can see how we are coming up. Our model is coming up. We are, we are now running, this is the final stage of the entire model, right? This is the final stage because the real model is the assumptions we have built around all this. Now we are now integrating those assumptions and the calculations into the financial statements. So we are now representing those value into their individual financial statement. That is what we are just doing here. We don't do much here. Just equal to again SG and A. Comes your calculation. You go down to where you have your SG and A. That is it. This is your SG and A. Let's divide that by what? By the divisor, right? Divisor, the divisor. You can choose not to use the divisor, of course. Nothing is going to happen. It's still going to be okay, right? So here you now get this. So this EBITDA is very, very important because of valuation. You have to make sure that you have this line item for your valuation purposes. So if you just go ahead and say this minus what, then minus what the this, we have this value. So we just go ahead and fill this in, right? So we come back here again. We apply what? We apply our what? Apply our this time. So let's go ahead and do that. Equals to sorry, VST, right? You can see the same style. So I'll also do the same thing here. Also do the same thing here, and I think I will do the same thing here too, right? So that is it. Now we have this. I can also copy this style and do the same thing here. Do the same thing here. Do the same thing here. And in this case, in this place, I will now do what? I'll just do equal to this, and I'll apply the total style right here. So that is what we have. Then this one I can just say profit for the year is okay. Profit for the year or net profit for the year is still the same thing. So let's go ahead and say okay, depreciation is going to be equal to this. Come to depreciation, go down. That is our last schedule. Our depreciation is this. Our depreciation is this, then divided by what? The divisor, right? Divided by the divisor. You press enter, you have this value. Then we have this, like this now minus what? Minus the depreciation. We have this value. Then we have the interest expenses. Interest expenses is on here. Where are we going to find our interest expense? Our interest expense is going to be on the loan schedule. So our loan schedule, this is our interest expense, then divided by what? The divisor. The divisor, like I said, is not compulsory, but to make your work neater, that is why you need it, right? So when you do that, we can now say equal to this again. This minus what? The interest rate. We have this value, right? So what is now our tax expense? Remember what we did on the or we did on what? Or we did on the dividends. That's the same thing we're going to do there. We're going to say equals to open bracket. If this amount is greater than 1, is greater than 0, right? If it is greater than 0, then multiply what? Okay, then multiply this. Then multiply this by what? Multiply it by what is called interest rate. I will just type it in. Then multiply this. Then multiply this. What? Times what? Interest rate. Interest. So interest rate. I'll just say rate. Right? I'll just go back and rename our interest rate to this. Right? The interest rate is what? We have this. Then we have, sorry, have this, this minus what? Minus this, right? We have this, of course. So let's go back to our input. What is our input? Let's go and see where is our interest rate. Sorry, our tax rate. I mean, it's not interest rate, it's tax rate. Sorry, it's not interest rate, it's tax rate. This is tax rate multiplied by our tax rate, right? So it's tax rate. Come to under the government, we have this tax rate. So just paste this. So I have just renamed it. So this one is not actually it's not really important here. I can just bring this back to this place, right? So this is not actually important, or any, you can leave it there, no problem, but If you look at our statement now, you can see that it has been captured. This is our tax rate, and this is what we are paying. So when you do that, so this place, okay, we just say this divided by what? Our revenue. Sorry, our revenue. Then this also divided by what? Percentage of that's the revenue. So we have this. I can go ahead and select the whole of this. We still have one to do. Have this. This is going to be net profit margin divided by what? Net profit margin divided by our this is revenue. We have this. And just go ahead and you fill this in. You can see that what we are doing here is not much. You can see, wow, the business is actually doing great, right? It's doing great from 30% to 38 to 40 to 45 to 49. I see the business is actually growing. In some cases, that is not the case. In some cases, that is not the like personally, I prefer having an advanced financial statement than having a solid financial statement that is going to be very beautiful like this. You can see, oh, the business is no. At some point, there should be hurdles. That's what I mean. At some point, there should be a problem. The business will not continue making profit. At some point, the profit have to drop or the profit will increase. But I just have to take precautions. So, based on the assumptions we have put in place, it shows that our business is going to be making profit. But what if the assumption change in the future? What if the real data now says, okay, our interest rate, what if the assumption now change in future and we have, let's say our growth rate, right? I'll start with the growth rate. Let's say our growth rate drop to what? Our growth, let's say our growth rate drop to, let's say 3%, right? Let's say 3%. Let's say 3%. So what happened? You can see even though the business is still growing, but let's say let's say inflation rate, right? Let's say the inflation rate increased to, let's say 30%, right? Let's say 30%. So if the inflation rate increased by 30%, it means our cost increased. So you can see that the business started dropping. The business profit at this point it was growing till the fifth year it started going down. So these are the kind of things we want to put into place. We want to construct. We want to be looking at, right? It's not that the business will continue making profit for its entire operating life, right? At some point, the profit, some things will happen, some economic conditions will be applied. Okay, apply, and some of these things will change, right? So this is a model, like I said, we are using it to learn. We are using it to learn. So this is what we have. So you go back, we have this again. Now you can see how the change I made in the input affect the entire model and to the final output we have in the financial statement here. So this is just the income statement, right? This is just the income statement. Now we're going to also look at the statement of financial position, which is now the balance sheet. We're going to look at how to integrate those items there. Let's go ahead. Let's see. I just want to have the same thing I have here, the same formatting. I like making my work look consistent. I like making it look consistent. So we have this H O W the basis, and we have this. So let's go ahead and see. So first of all, let's do this place is going to be on our explanatory style. This is explanatory. We're going to apply the explanatory style here. So we have this. You can see this is our income statement. We have now integrated all our calculations in our income statement, and when we return back, we're going to see how to do that of the financial position, that is the balance sheet, and the cash flow statement, right? So when we come back, we are going to do that. Thank you very much for staying tuned, and if you have not subscribed, please kindly do subscribe, and see you in the next class.